Hello, happy Monday, everyone. Um, Thank you all so much for joining me tonight in a little home practice since we can't be outdoors sharing wine together. I was joking with Nikki and Seville earlier today about how I kind of just wanted to like have everyone grab their carpet squares and their blanket, and I'll just read everyone a story tonight because that's the move and the vibe that I'm in this evening. But I promise we are going to move. We're just going to kind of keep it really chill and easy, um, creating some space for a little kind of self care, self love, internal reflection. But always, as you know, option number one is if you're just needing a little adult nap time, you can grab your carpet square and your favorite blanket and just find a cozy spot and hang out. For those of you who are new or maybe haven't practiced with me, my name's Jaime. The purpose of these classes is just finding that feel good moment, combining things that are happy, that create a little space for us in the mind and in the body, a little reprieve from the world and all things that are going on. So I invite you to just really honor where you're at tonight. If the week and the weekend just kind of have worn you out or worn you down, this is your space and your time. Maybe you just put on the playlist, cozy up, and don't do anything, and that's okay. But if you're needing a little bit more, always the option to add on or modify, just making sure that you're doing what you need in the moment, kind of letting everything else fade away a bit. I do recommend that if you do have a blanket nearby, just grab it. We're going to use it towards the end to have a really lovely Shavasana moment. So take a moment, grab a blanket, and then we'll start to get settled in. We're going to start laying down flat on our backs. So just taking some time to get settled there. And just settling into a little bit of stillness. So maybe in this starting point, you take up a little bit of space, letting the feet roll out to the sides, letting the arms come out to the sides any amount. If you really are needing to feel kind of connected or centered, you have the option of putting hand on heart, hand on belly, just really connect to the breath, connect to what you're feeling this evening. But we're just going to take a few moments to get really quiet and really still here. And before you start to kind of hone in your focus or alter the breath in any way, can you just have a little bit of awareness or presence in this moment, in this space, as you start your practice? Just taking some time to maybe reflect on what you've got going on or what is going on around you. We've had a tumultuous year, but also a particularly tumultuous week. And so, whether you've been helping through offering resources or your time or funds to the wildfires going on or anything happening in the community, it's important and it's necessary to recharge so that you can continue to give your time, your effort, and your energy. So, just taking some time here to really kind of collect where you're at and what you're needing, and just channeling that into your intention for your practice tonight. And then just starting to bring a little more focus to the breath. Inhaling deeply, filling up the belly with air, and then exhaling deeply, letting that air out. And you can come into this breath through a count if that makes more sense. Inhaling to a count of 4 or 5, and then exhaling to a count of 4 or 5. Finding that even inhale, even exhale. Creating space and movement in the body. We'll spend just a few more moments here, getting really settled to this breath. Maybe spending these moments just allowing that focus or intention to settle more deeply in the mind and the heart. And we'll start to hug knees in towards the chest. Taking a little moment here, maybe rocking side to side, drawing little circles with the knees, just kind of pulling out the spine, seeing how it feels. We're going to keep these knees hugged in towards the body. Arms can come out into this to the sides. You can come into that T shape, or maybe you find that cactus arm shape. And then we're going to start to drop the knees over towards the right. Just keeping it really easy and gentle. And then just releasing any amount into this twist. So that sensation, movement of shoulders melting towards the ground, that opening up and lengthening through the side body. One more big breath wherever you're at here. And then we'll start to bring knees back up towards the center. Pausing here for a moment, maybe reconnecting those shoulders or arms to the ground. And then as you're ready with your next exhale, just dropping those knees over to the left. Same thing here, giving this side of the body the same time and space to settle in. Feeling that little bit of release through the side body, shoulders pressing and melting down towards the ground. Finding that length through the body here. One more breath wherever you're at. And then we'll start to bring knees back to center, hugging them in towards the chest again. We're going to move hands over to the right knee. That left foot's just going to come and plant down on the ground here, keeping that knee bent. And then we're going to move hands to the back of this right thigh, pressing that foot up towards the sky. So just finding a little length through the leg. Doesn't have to be a super intense stretch. Making sure that the head and the neck are still nice and easy. We don't want everything to feel really cramped. So shoulders are still pressing down towards the mat. Keeping it easy. Pressing through that foot, lengthening through the leg here. Maybe you roll into the ankle, maybe scrunching those toes or flaring them out. And as you press through this right foot up towards the sky, can you press just as actively through that left foot, pressing down into the mat, almost as if the hips could lift up off the mat here, but everything's staying really solid. We're just activating through that left leg as well as through the right leg here. One more breath wherever you're at. And we'll start to bend into that right knee, hugging it back in here. We're going to lengthen that left leg all the way out. So having it come down, heel to the ground. And then we're just going to bring that left arm out to the side and then open up that right hip. So bringing the right leg out to the side any amount. Maybe you keep it nice and still. Maybe you find a little movement, drawing circles with the knee. And then we'll start to bring that knee back to center, pressing actively through that left heel. Start to float that heel up off the ground a little bit here. Little engagement of that low belly in the core, hugging belly button to spine. We're going to start to slowly bring that left foot all the way up to the sky. and then hugging it in to meet the right. Hands come over to that left knee, right foot's gonna come down. Knees bent, foot is planted here. And then we're bringing those hands to the back of the thigh as we press that left foot up towards the sky. Same thing on this side. Keeping things easy through the neck and the shoulders. Pressing through that left foot. Toes are coming back towards the face. This knee can have a little bend, especially if the hamstrings are a little tight. It's okay to kind of release that tension here, but just keep everything really active. So you're still actively pressing through the foot, actively pressing through that right foot as well, keeping everything really solid. One more breath here. We're going to start to hug that knee back in, and that right leg's going to come all the way down to the mat, letting that heel rest all the way down. Right arm will come out to the side, and we're just opening up that left hip. Same option here. Maybe you keep it nice and still. Maybe you draw little circles with that knee. Any movements or stillness that help that hip kind of wake up and release here. And we'll bring that knee back to center, hugging it in, getting really active through the right foot, pressing through that heel. Maybe that heel floats off the mat just a little bit here. And then nice and slow, we're going to start to bring that foot all the way up towards the sky. Hugging that knee back in towards the chest. Start to find a little forward and back rocking movement. We're going to come all the way up into a nice comfy seat here. So settling in, finding that nice seat. Hands can come down to the lap. We're going to add a little movement here. So inhale, nice big reach, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll move through this a couple times. Inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, just like that. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are going to come to heart. We're going to reach those arms back up towards the sky here. Pulling elbows apart, finding that nice big heart opening shape. If you've practiced with me pre-COVID, I'm a big proponent for a high five. So this is usually where I would demand high-fiving practice happen. But for now, we'll just pretend we'll virtually high-five each other. But feeling that openness through the collarbones, spreading through the shoulders. Nice big open shape here. We're going to start to press the forearms towards each other, putting a little kind of cat shape into that upper part of the back, bringing the forearms together. And then we're going to open it right back up, finding a little bit of cow in the upper part of the chest. So it's kind of a modified cat-cow shape here. We're going to move through it a couple times. So forearms will press towards each other, little rounding of that upper back here. And then pressing the arms away from each other, opening up through the heart. Keeping those hips pressing down towards the mat. We'll move through this 2 more times. Finding that tiny cat shape. Opening it up. A little bit of cow through the upper part of the back. 1 more time, just like that. Forearms together. Opening it right back up. Finding that open heart shape. Arms are going to reach up towards the sky. Hands are going to come to heart. Tipping back on those sit bones. We're coming into a little moment of boat pose, just a little hello to the core. Feet can always stay planted on the ground, or you can float those feet. Heart's lifting up towards the thumbs here. 1 more breath wherever you're at. We're going to cross the feet the other way, the way that probably feels the most weird. Settle back into our seat here. Inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, we're gonna twist towards the left leg. Hands are gonna drop down, finding our twist. So we've been in a twist before, keeping things really easy here. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Hips are pressing down to into the mat. Keeping that length through the body. Breathing extra space into those areas that might feel a little stuck here. We're going to inhale right back up. Switching to that other side, hands drop down. Settling into this twist again, crown of the head reaches up towards the sky, lengthening through the whole body. Hips are pressing down into the mat. One more breath wherever you're at. We're going to inhale all the way up, hands to the sky. Hands are going to come to heart. We're just making our way over into table. So taking a moment to get set up, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're going to take a couple rounds of our cat-cow here, so a little more elaborate shape than we did in our seated position. So inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing away. We'll move through this a couple times here, taking it as slow as you need to, pausing in one shape or the other, if that's what makes sense. And just really feeling all parts of this cat-cow. Maybe you slow it down even more than usual. Lingering in those positions or areas that might need a little extra love or attention. One more round through cat-cow. We're going to make our way back into our nice flat tabletop here. Crown of the head's reaching forward, little hug in of belly button to spine. We're going to start to reach the right arm up towards the sky, and then we're going to scoop it down and underneath, coming to rest on that shoulder. So this left hand can stay in by the face. Maybe you start to walk it forward any amount, but really thinking about opening up towards that left side of the mat. One more breath wherever you're at. If that left hand is forward, just bringing it back in, pressing into that hand, reaching that right arm back up towards the sky, bringing it down to the mat. Same thing other side here. Left arm reaches up. We're going to swoop it underneath, coming to rest on that left shoulder. Same option here. Maybe those right fingertips start to reach forward. Can you open up the body towards that right side of the mat? Breathing into this shape. One more breath wherever you're at. We'll bring that right hand back in if it's reached out, pressing firmly into that hand as you reach that left arm back up towards the sky, bringing it down to meet the other. Finding that table shape. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing into cat. We're going to press those hips all the way back towards the heels, settling into a little moment of child's pose here. So this is always kind of home base or a place of pause. If you're needing to reconnect with the breath or recommit to your intention or your focus, this pose and this shape is always here for you whenever you need to take some time to just settle back into the stillness or your breath. We'll start to press into the hands, coming right back into our table. Tucking the toes here. We're going to lift the hips up and back, settling into our down dog. Spending a couple breaths here, bending into the knees, walking it out. Finding any little movements that might make sense to you to kind of warm the body up. We'll settle back into our down dog for just a couple breaths here. Trying to distribute the weight evenly between the hands and the feet. Heels are pressing down and back. They don't have to come down to the ground. That might not be an option for you, and that's okay. But just really trying to distribute the weight evenly between the front and the back of the body. We'll take a nice deep bend to the knees, looking forward between the hands, taking just a little stroll forward. Feet to hands or hands to feet, forward fold. Bending nice and deep into the knees. We're going to take a really slow roll all the way up. Taking your time. Once you're there, nice big reach, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to move through that a couple times. If you practice with me from home a couple weekends ago, I knocked joy off the wall. So I'm going to try really hard not to do that this class. Inhale, nice big reach. Pressing the palms together, folding forward. Hands are going to come to shins or thighs. Nice flat back here. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Hands to heart. We're going to move through that one more time. This time I'm not going to cue us, just moving through it with your breath, finding that connection. Inhale to lift. Halfway lift. We'll all come to meet, hands to heart. Start to add on here. Inhale, nice big reach. Finding our fold. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. We're going to stay up on those back toes. Come all the way up into our high lunge. And just settle into this shape for a moment. So feeling really connected through the feet here. That front knee is stacked over the ankle. This back leg is pressing really actively back through that back heel. Arms are going to reach up. With our next inhale, straightening that front knee. Exhale, bends that knee, bends the elbows, opening up the heart. We're going to move through this a couple times. So inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, finds that bend. 2 more times just like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to open it up. Once more, nice big reach. Bending the knee, bending the elbows. Hands are going to come down around the foot. Any way you want to get there, we're stepping it back. Down dog. Doesn't have to be graceful. Settling into this shape. With our inhale, we're going to roll up onto tiptoes. Exhale, presses heels down and back. We'll move through that a couple times. Inhale to find that roll up. Exhale to press it back. You can keep this lift and lower happening if that's enough. If you're wanting a little more as you inhale, maybe you roll forward to your plank. Exhale sends hips up and back. Down dog. Moving through one or the other a few times here, feeling that connection with the breath. We'll come to meet in our down dog. We're all going to roll forward into that plank. Knees are going to drop. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend straight back as we lower. Untucking those toes, big shrug of the shoulders, baby cobra. Getting a little light in the hands here so that the hands might float off the mat. We'll roll right back down. Pressing back to table, tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. That little bit of movement and flow through plank, lower back bend is your vinyasa. We'll move through one all together one more time, and then you can choose to take them if you want, or you can skip them. It's your practice. I can't see you, so you can do what you like. We're going to send the left foot up and back, if that makes sense, and then stepping it all the way forward. Staying up on those back toes, coming on up, high lunge. And again, just settling into this shape here. So feeling really solid in the feet, knee is stacked over the ankle, heels pressing actively out behind you. Lengthening through the upper body. We're going to add a little bit of that movement here. Inhale to lift. Exhale, bends the knee, bends the elbows out. Moving here a couple times. Slowing it down as much as you need to. Feeling really connected to the feet. Feeling solid. One more time to lift and lengthen. Bending the knee, bending the elbows. Hands are going to come down around that foot. We're just stepping that back foot forward, forward fold. With our inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Pausing here for just a couple breaths. Checking in with the breath, checking in with the body. Maybe circling back to that intention or focus that you set for your practice. With our inhale, nice big reach, folding forward. Halfway lift, folding forward. Left foot stays, right foot steps back. This time we're going to plant that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. So hips are square to the front of the mat here. Same idea, knee is stacked over ankle, still pressing nice active through that back foot. Feeling a little more grounded through the legs here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. So we're going to do this the way that you definitely don't want to do it. So as you inhale, try not to lock the knee out. Just kind of pop into it and pop out of it. So see if you can be really controlled in lengthening through that inner thigh as you find that lift. And then being very controlled as you start to find that bend. One more time, inhale to lift. Bending that knee. We're going to pull the elbows apart here. So finding that little bit of heart opener. We're going to start to lean and tilt forward as we press the forearms together. And then we're going to open it right back up and come all the way back, shoulders over hips. So we're going to move through that a couple times. Finding that tilt forward, keeping that openness through the chest, even as you press the forearms towards each other. And then pressing them away, coming right back up. One more time, just like that. Finding that lean as the arms come towards each other. Pressing it back open. Coming on up. Hands to the sky. Hands are going to come down around that foot, stepping it back. Down dog. Inhale forward into our plank. Knees can stay lifted or you can drop them again. Heart pulls forward, elbows bend back as we lower. Untucking the toes, big shrug of the shoulders. You can stay in this baby cobra. Maybe you press up any amount more, if that makes sense. We'll lower it back down. Tucking toes, lifting hips. Down dog. If it makes sense, right foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward, planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Settling in again here, checking in with the feet, feeling really grounded through the legs, making sure that the core and the rib cage is engaged here as well. So you kind of want to knit the ribs together so everything is feeling really solid through the center of the body. We're going to find that lift and lower with that front knee. So as we inhale, straightening that front knee. Exhale, finds that bend. Moving through this a couple times. Inhale to find that lift with intention. Exhale to release into the bend. 2 more just like that. Last one. We're going to pull the elbows apart, finding that heart lift. So feeling this openness through the heart, that little bit of cow happening in the upper part of the back, but still knitting the ribs together, finding that little bit of core engagement happening as you find this heart opener. I know I'm asking you to do like all the things at once, but I know that you can do it. So we're going to find that little lean forward, pressing those forearms towards each other. And keeping this part really nice and slow here. So almost like you're moving through honey. Finding that tilt as those arms press in. Keeping that low belly engaged. Pressing them away as you come right back up. 2 more just like that. Last one here. Bringing it right back up. Hands to the sky. Hands come down around the foot. Stepping that back foot forward. Forward fold. Putting a nice steep bend in the knees here. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows. Letting everything hang out. Maybe a little bit of sway in the upper body. We'll release those elbows with our inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Hands to heart. We're going to start to shift the weight into the right foot. Left knee's coming up. So maybe you keep those toes near the ground. Maybe they're a little or a lot towards the chest. Settling in for a moment of balance here. Finding a point of focus. We're going to start to tilt forward, reaching that foot back behind us. A little moment of flight. And then we're stepping it down, planting that heel. Nice big reach, warrior one. And then we're going to open it up, warrior two. Taking a moment to get settled here. Front heel, back arch alignment. Arms are reaching nice and long, making sure that your shoulders aren't living up by your ears. So just letting everything settle a little here. Inhale, straightens that front knee, arms reach up. Warrior two. One more time, inhale to lift. Warrior two. Flipping that front palm, finding our reverse. Forearm to thigh, extended side angle. That top arm can reach straight up, or you can start to reach it forward. Coming back up, warrior two. We're gonna turn the hips to the front. Maybe you walk that foot in a little bit, coming back into our warrior one shape here. Hands are gonna come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. This round, you have 5 breaths to your choice. So maybe you move through that vinyasa, coming into your plank, back bend. Maybe you drop to table or child's pose. Choosing if you need stillness or movement. Making space for that to happen. We're all going to come to meet in our down dog. Bending into the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward. Forward fold. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are going to come to heart. Shifting weight into that left foot this time. Right knee comes up. So same options. Maybe those toes stay near the ground. Maybe you bring that knee up a little or more. Settling into a moment of balance. Finding a point of focus. Reconnecting with the breath here. We're going to start to send that foot back behind us. Maybe you pause for a little moment of flight. Maybe you step right into that warrior one, planting that back heel, nice big reach, hands to the sky. And then we'll open it up, warrior two. Same thing here, taking a moment to check in with the feet, feeling grounded through the legs, shoulders drop a little bit. We're gonna inhale and lift, warrior two. One more time, inhale to reach, warrior two. Flipping that front palm, finding our reverse. Forearm's gonna come to thigh, extended side angle. Coming right back up, warrior two. Turning the hips to the front, hands can come to heart, stepping that foot in, warrior one. Hands are gonna come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. Same option here. You choose what you need. Maybe you move out that vinyasa. Maybe you come into table or child's pose. We'll all come to meet in our down dog. Bending into the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. Maybe taking a moment to grab opposite elbows, finding a little bit of sway in that upper body. We'll release the elbows. With our inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Just settling into a moment of pause here. So maybe the eyes close or the gaze drifts to the floor. Settling into stillness. Reconnecting to that sensation and movement of breath in the body. Checking in with the intention or focus that you set for your practice. Making sure that you're honoring the space that you need, the movement that you need, just letting everything else fade away here. We'll start to blink the eyes open. Nice big reach, hands to the sky, folding forward. Halfway lift, nice flat back here, folding forward. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. We're gonna plant that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. Settling in for a breath, feeling solid through the legs and the feet here. We're gonna start to lean forward. Arms are gonna reach back behind us. And then as you come back up, arms will sweep forward and up to the sky. So we're gonna move through that a couple times. Finding that tilt forward, arms reach back. Coming back up, arms come up to the sky. One more time, just like that. Finding that little bit of core engagement, belly buttons hugging in towards the spine. So you can keep that movement happening if that's enough. If you're wanting a little more, you can pop up onto those back toes. As you start to tilt and lean forward, maybe you find a small moment of flight. And then as you sweep those arms up, knees gonna come up towards the chest. Always with the option to touch down if you need. Arms fly back as you send that foot back behind you. Stepping that foot down, arms come up to the sky. So we're gonna move through that 2 more times. Feet can stay fully planted. You can focus on that arm movement. If you want the flight option, you're gonna find that tilt and lean forward as you find a little moment of flight. Hands come up to the sky as that knee comes up towards the chest. Sending it back behind you. Stepping it down as you come right back up. One more time, wherever you're at, finding that connection with your breath here. And we'll all come to meet in our warrior one or high lunge. Hands are gonna come to heart. We're just gonna step that foot forward, hot second of a little baby chair pose, and then all the way up, hands to the sky. Hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are gonna come to heart. We're gonna shift weight into that right foot, left knee's coming up. Pulling those arms apart, finding that heart opener here. We've been here before, just this time a little added challenge with the balance. And then we're gonna start to find that tilt and lean forward, arm or foot flies back behind us, keeping that openness through the heart here. Option to stay. Maybe you put that foot down if you're needing a little more sense of groundedness. Or you can start to play with pressing forearms towards each other and then pulling it right back out. One more time, wherever you're at. Opening it back up. Stepping that foot down if it's lifted. Nice big reach, straightening that front knee, letting the arms fly out into a V. And then we're gonna bring hands down around the foot, stepping it back. Down dog. 5 breaths, your choice, movement or stillness. Maybe you move through that vinyasa. Maybe you settle into table or child's pose. Choosing what you need in the moment. We'll all come to meet in our down dog. If it makes sense, left foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward, planting that back heel, coming on up, warrior one. So settling in here for a breath, feeling that connection of feet to the ground. We're going to start to tilt forward, arms reach back. And then as you sweep those arms forward, bringing the body right back up on the hips. So we'll move through that a couple times. Feet stay planted here, just finding that movement in the arms, that little engagement of the core. One more time. So you have the option to keep that movement happening. If you want the added challenge, as you fly those arms behind, maybe you find a moment of flight, and then that knee's going to come up to the heart as the arms reach up, sending it back behind, arms fly back, stepping into that lunge, hands to the sky. Moving through that again, you choose which version you're wanting. Maybe you fly, maybe you don't. Taking it slow, setting that foot down as you need. Hands to the sky. One more time, wherever you're at. Slowing it down as much as you need to. Touching down when you need to. Just getting a little bit of that hip burn tonight. Nice big reach. Hands are going to come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. Moving through your vinyasa, if it makes sense. We'll come to meet in down dog. Left foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward. Staying up on those back toes, coming on up. Hands are going to come to heart. Sneaking that back foot forward, little moment of chair pose. These chairs are for you, Jerry. All the way up, hands to the sky. Hands to heart. Inhale, nice big reach. Hands are going to come to heart. Shifting weight into that left foot. Right knee comes up. We're going to pull those arms apart, finding that heart opener. And then keeping that openness through the chest as you start to reach that foot back behind you. So you have the option to stay here. You can also touch that foot down if it's too much on the standing leg. Wherever you're at, forearms pressed together. Reaching them back open. One more time, pressing it together. Opening it back up. Stepping that foot down if it's lifted. Straightening that front knee. V'ing out the arms a bit here. Hands are going to come down around the foot, stepping it back, down dog. Moving through a vinyasa if you want to. We're all going to come to meet in our child's pose, taking the knees nice and wide, sending the hips all the way back. Once you're there, just settling into the shape, reconnecting with that breath, reconnecting with the body. And in this child's pose, we're going to walk the hands over towards the right. Still pressing those hips back towards the heels. Finding a little extra length and space through the side body. And then we'll start to walk hands back through the center, all the way over to the left. Same thing here. Hips are still pressing back to the heels, breathing into that side body, creating extra space. We'll walk the hands back to center. And then just gently walking hands in towards the body. We're going to come down to a comfortable seat. We're going to bring the legs straight out in front here. So we're going to come into a little bit of a hip stretch. It usually has lots of add-on options that you can do, but tonight we're just going to keep it really easy, just really get into the hip and the shape. So we're going to start with bringing the right ankle just right above that left knee. So creating kind of this figure four shape in the legs. For some of you, this might be enough. You might already feel all the things happening in the hip, and that's okay. So you can stay here. And we're all going to just kind of pause here in this shape. So you want to feel length through the spine. Crown of the head is still reaching up towards the sky. Hips are firmly rooted down into the mat here, trying to keep them evenly pressing down into the mat. Sometimes when we get into these kind of figure four shapes, one of our hips, we tend to kind of lean one way or the other. So see if you can really find that sensation of both hips firmly planted. So you have the option to stay and hang out here, or hands can come back behind you and you can start to put any amount of bend into that left knee. And as you settle into this, you want to make sure that you're not kind of settling into like your favorite couch shape. So you want to keep the heart lifted up towards the sky. You can stay nice and still, or maybe you find a little movement side to side. Any shapes that you can do to kind of get into that hip, feel some of those sensations that might be happening here. And then we're just going to gently inch that foot back out. Bring this right leg out to meet the left. And then we're going to come into same thing other side. So that left knee will bend, just crossing that ankle right above the knee. Pausing here in this figure four. Feeling those hips rooting down through the body here. Down into the ground. Spine is nice and tall. And you have the option to stay here, or hands can start to come behind the hips as you put a little bend into that knee. And again, try not to get slouchy. So keep everything lifted up really tall here. And just giving the body a little grace in this shape. So one side usually is more or less cooperative than the other, and that's okay. So just kind of honoring where you're at. Maybe this side has a little bit more depth in how far you can bend that right knee. Maybe it doesn't. But just kind of settling into the version of this pose on this side of the body without trying to like be competitive with what the other side could or couldn't do. Again, this can be nice and still, or you can find a little movement. And then we'll just gently start to inch that foot back out. Bringing that left leg out to meet it. We're going to bend into both the knees here. And then without any extra core work, we're going to come all the way down to our mat. Once you're there, knees hug into the body. We're going to plant the feet. So knees are bent, feet are planted, bringing the feet to the wide edges of your mat and just letting the knees fall in towards each other here. Arms are going to reach straight up to the sky. You can kind of reach fingertips to get those shoulder blades up off the mat here. We're going to start to cross the arms with the right arm closest to your face. So hands can wrap around. Maybe they wrap around the shoulders. Maybe they just kind of rest gently. But you want to make sure that instead of the elbows falling up towards the face, just pressing the elbows down towards the body, settling into this little moment of self hug. This might be your first hug of the day. So just kind of settle into the comfort. Turn the thoughts maybe inward, reconnecting with where you're at in this moment, what you're needing from your practice. We'll spend just a couple more moments here just trying to maybe release or let go any areas of the body that are still holding on to any amount of tension or just feeling kind of stuck. See if you can use the breath to create a little space or release. And we'll start to reach the hands back up towards the sky here, pausing for a moment. And then we're going to recross the arms, this time with that left arm closest to the face. Find your version of a little self-hug moment. Make sure that those elbows are pressing away from the face here. And then just start to settle right back into the shape. Bringing that focus back to the breath. Couple more breaths on this side. Again, just breathing extra space or release into areas that might still feel kind of sticky or have any tension going on. And then we'll just gently start to reach those arms back up. You can bring them down. We're gonna, if you grabbed a blanket at the beginning of class, just invite you to grab it now. We're gonna settle into our savasana. So maybe you use it to cover up. Coming back to that shape or space where maybe the legs are a little wider here, arms can come out to the sides. Maybe you bring hand to heart, hand to belly. But just taking some moments to get a little cozy, to feel really comforted and supported, whether you're seated or laying flat. Just starting to allow the breath to find its own natural rhythm in the body here. Spending a few more moments in this kind of quiet, still space before the tasks and to-do lists start to creep back into the mind, can you just honor the space within the four corners of your yoga mat to be solely about the breath moving in the body, the intention that you set that you needed for your practice tonight? And maybe in this cozy, kind of comfy moment of Shavasana, you just remember that there is a community of yogis and humans that are practicing with you, sharing this moment and this space with you. And then it's all kind of a collective community hug moment, if that's what you're needing. Start to find a little depth to the breath, maybe adding little movements to fingers and toes, a little sway of the head side to side. And taking your time, if you need to stay where you're at in this kind of cozy, blanketed Shavasana, feel free to stay. If you're ready to kind of move into the rest of your evening, just slowly rolling to either side, taking your time there at your own pace, making your way to a comfortable seat. As you settle in, just allow the eyes to stay closed or gaze to drift to the ground. We'll bring palms together in front of the heart. Taking one big inhale all together. Opening the mouth, letting it go. I want to thank you all so much for sharing this practice and this space with me. Just kind of collectively hugging each other, even though we're all on screens right now, but just knowing that we're here, we can move and breathe together, even though we're apart. I just want to thank you for sharing this moment to start the week this way. The light within me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Awesome. Thank you all so much. If you're still Shavasana-ing, please continue to do so with your blanket. I just want to thank everyone for joining the live stream since we had to make a shift for classes due to the air quality. But I'm super happy and grateful to be able to teach from my home. So I'm glad that you were able to join me from yours. Just as a quick note, all the donations for class tonight will go to the Mid-Valley Wildfire Relief Fund, which is being organized through United Way. So please feel free to donate if you haven't already, or if you feel like donating more, we greatly appreciate it. And we'll just be sending all that money to United Way so that they can use it in the way that they need to help those that need it. So we're super, super grateful for anything that you are willing to share. Tomorrow's class also is canceled due to air quality. So we have another Taproot collab coming up. Hopefully that will happen next week, I believe. And then Wednesday, we'll just make a call about Wednesday sometime tomorrow. So thank you for being flexible. If we do end up canceling, I believe Mickey's going to do a live stream from her home. So we'll still have some kind of yoga happening, which will be great. But thank you all for just being flexible with us and adapting and supporting and doing all the amazing things that you do regularly for this community. Hello, Susan. Hello, Karen. Monday night check. Perfect. Jerry, I threw some chair pose in there for you. So I hope that was good. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Catherine. So again, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all so much. Have a lovely Monday and we will see you soon. Cheers.